Hey guys, welcome back to Trekyards. He's Commander Kai.
He's kind of Foley.
We have a brand new venture today. We're gonna venture into this episode talking about a thing that's not another thing, but is trying to be, even though it's not.
A future galaxy class.
But not a galaxy class.
But no, from Star Trek Online, an old school approach and a galaxy class. You've probably seen it in games, probably played, back in the day when even just getting a cannon-looking ship was hard. A lot of people said, hey, I'll get a close-looking ship. I know I did at the time. And this was one of those first versions. Brand new renders, brand new comparisons with Galaxy. Let's see what we think of it. As I always ask you, do you remember this ship? And if yes, no, what do you think of the...
I do remember this venture class, and I was never really a fan of it. They changed a few things on it that I didn't like. A few things I did like, so it'll be fun to go through that and talk about that today. Because, yeah, this was like one of the choices for... it's close enough to Galaxy class. STO is kind of like the what if of Starship design.
Especially now, it's the everything thing.
What about you? Did you ever use this one in game?
No, I didn't. I sort of remember it, but then I might be, Mandela affecting another galaxy, right? Because if they try and stick so close to the vibe, then they all have a certain similarity of tone, and I might not necessarily stand out to me. I think when I originally got any version of Galaxy back in the day, they were so sluggish as kind of penalty for using them that I skipped it. I was like, that's not worth it. That's not fun anymore. So I think I didn't really play anything Galaxy-esque. But design-wise, I mean, we've now finally got the very harsh black and white contrast paint, which Stowe later became known for. I don't love the use case here because it just kind of looks like there's missing pieces, as in like space, but it's not. There's a sort of lack of some finesse. But I think I'm going to like the engines given this view, but we'll have to see. What stands out to you in this view?
It's funny you said that because I actually really like the high contrast paint schemes.
You always have, Stuart. Always have.
And I hate those nacelles.
There we go. We did it.
It should be a very fun episode. No, I like this. I like the sleekness of the redesign of the bridge module and the back part. I think that's really well handled and well done.
But it is very sovereign-y. You've sovereigned it up, but not quite as dramatic.
And I'm not sure, but from this view, it doesn't look like the saucer is quite the same shape as the Galaxy class. I think they might have rounded it out a bit more.
I don't know. Yeah.
Hard to tell.
We will find out. Don't you worry.
We will find out.
Let's learn some more. The back view, very different. And yes, we've now gained we've lost all of the detailing that the Galaxy had in the neck. This is entirely different. And we've gained impulse engines. Although, weirdly, there's now phaser strips at the back of the neck, but there's none on the saucer.
Oh, yeah, I know, but you could assume that black ring is a phaser strip, even though it's textured wrong. This I kind of hate. Extending the neck the way they did. I love that they added the two other impulse engines, but that negates the two shuttle bays that are in the neck of the Galaxy class, and it says you have one at the bottom, at the base there, which not a big deal.
Galaxy X like.
Not a big deal. Yeah, but you're also losing your main shuttle bay on the saucer as well, which I don't think was necessary.
But they might not have known there was a giant shuttle bay in the saucer, those that designed this version.
But having that long neck, I mean, that carries on to like, what is it, the Ross class? Andromeda class, things like that. And I kind of like it. But there's something about the back of this, those nacelle struts, the way they curve, and the nacelles are just god-awful. Exposing the blue at the back, I think, is a bad idea. I don't like it, personally.
I think it looks kind of
cool. I know
you
like it, so...
Apart from the black paint, which makes again look invisible, why would you put black paint at the back? There's no reason, right? It's pure aesthetics, but I think that... And at the back of the... but the neck is weird. It's disproportioned. You're adding a giant chunk to a design that was sleekly proportioned, bit of chunk where it has to be sleek where otherwise is. This just kind of adds a bleh to the back. And there's nothing there. If you look at it, like, it's just plating. You've not gained anything by this additional space. And you've lost all the things that are on. And I know Galaxy's kind of cute for having a tiny impulse engine, but I do not like the two neck ones because they're so small, pathetic, and lost leader for the shuttle bay. It's a waste of everyone's time, in my opinion.
We're going to disagree on a lot of things on this one because I really like those personally.
They're so tiny and pathetic. And the Galaxy X shell bay mostly works, but I don't know if the clamshell aesthetic quite integrates with Galaxy aesthetic.
Also, the windows seem really odd at the back there. They're straight. Like I would have preferred if they like angled a bit, even though that wouldn't have made a lot of sense deck wise. Regardless, I think that's where the paint like that kind of falls down a little bit.
Giant plates that mean absolutely nothing. Well, I love the fact the pennant on the nacelle is still a Enterprise D pennant.
At least it has pennants. A lot of STO ships didn't. So.
Indeed, we've reached the pennant generation because there are actually RCS thrusters as well. I give them credit. There's actually some basics. Next view, though, goodness, that's a view.
Ton of escape pods, which I like.
Tons, wow, yeah. Wow.
No captain's yacht necessarily.
Just a giant dome.
I hate that deflector.
It doesn't.
I like the detail in it. I just don't like that it's just so exposed. I love the way the Galaxy classes comes around and like this is just taking all that away. It just seems unfinished, or it doesn't look like it's completed at all.
It's got a very mechanical industrial feel now, and almost as if they can interchange with new deflector units. Which, if this is a deflector boat, a scanning boat, then okay, fine, maybe. But I'm assuming that's 2 shuttle bays at the front underneath the deflector. Otherwise, they're just vents. Well, otherwise they're just giant vents.
Plus, they're angled weird. Like it'd be hard. I mean, you can do variable gravity where it's like if the decks are like this, you can like be fine. But I don't know. I just feel like flying towards a deflector dish that close to like.
Well, it's also dangerous to put a quantum launcher next to your primary reserve shuttle.
Oh, that's true.
Where torpedoes actually go almost like by it. Some things are just sort of there because they're there. And also, this is a game we're not necessarily going to see this view very often. I'm kind of impressed how much there is for this view, considering this is not the primary view you see anyway. It's actually quite designed. I sort of like, and it sounds a bit gruesome, but the slit neck, I'm assuming torpedo launcher or whatnot, it kind of works as a paint differential to like, here's our launcher.
Also, splitting the Bizarre collector like that. I
didn't know that was the case. I noticed that from previous views. It was hidden. It kind of gives me a bug-eye feel.
It does feel like they've got like a huge arboretum window on the side, though. That could also be a shuttle bay. The door's open.
Possibly. And I absolutely detest the black paint underneath the nacelle. It's just, why? Again, there's no reason. It's pure aesthetical. Aesthetical? Yeah, that's a word. Next view, though, is the back. Now, this actually looks like a Galaxy. Give them credit. This hides all the new things. Now it's a Galaxy again.
The back of those nacelles extending out so far and then having that blue. I mean, I don't mind the blue on the bottom. On the top, it really bugs me. Blue not on the bottom, not so bad. But extending the Galaxy class nacelles out further. Usually, I'm a big proponent of making them longer. With the Galaxy, I like that they're truncated and stop at where they do. Plus, the way they kind of flare out at the back to become much wider than at the front also kind of bothers me aesthetically.
Let's see if orthographically this thing sings or sinks. Top and bottom, a pretty Galaxy. It hides a lot of the differences, I'll be honest. I have my brain isn't saying much from these two views.
I'm going to go back to what I said earlier. That does keep the shape of the saucer of the Galaxy class, which is fine. I just don't like the back. I don't like the way it's rounded the way it is. I much prefer the Galaxy struts. The engines, the nacelles don't look that bad from this angle, honestly. The blue just, I don't know if I like.
And something I thought from the previous view, the back of the secondary hull, the bottom bit, feels like just a total lack of anything. All of our hero ships in Trek are all carefully balanced and detailed, and there's just and run out of things. It's like, but you've got this functional space you could utilize in some meaningful way, and there's no meaning there. But again, the black does hide it, right? Like every black area in the ship is entirely missing detail, so they're all like, like the black is the detail, right? Which is kind of how it works here. Fascinating.
I don't like the back of the saucer incorporating that sovereign-esque look now. Like the middle part's fine, but the way that the other part kind of flares out and goes around the impulse engines, and even on the bottom, it just looks. It looks like the saucer, if the thing saucer separated, would dock in,
yeah,
and just come out, which would be kind of neat.
Well, I think the top view is fine. The bottom, for some reason, it doesn't work. The way the shape integrates. And just a giant dome thing at the bottom doesn't really work. Well, let's see about the other views. Side view. And also, hard to see with black on black. It's not the easiest thing to review when black equals black.
Side view, I don't mind. I don't like the nacelles, though. Again, how they get bigger at the back. That kind of bothers me. I love the stance of that front view. The way those struts are shaped, I think works really well. Even the deflector feels finished and looks better from that angle. The problem for me here is that the saucer seems too squat, too squished, and the neck bulges right out. I don't hate the look of it. I'm just comparing it to the Galaxy class. The saucer feels very odd here. So I like the front and the back, especially the details on the back, like the black lines going up the neck like that. I think that looks really sleek.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, the neck is atrocious on the front. It looks horrible. It also is odd how the deflector is a shape inside a shape inside a shape, which means the actual deflector part is pretty small. You know, it's aesthetical and there, but it's a disconnect of shapes that feels very intentional to kind of give a vibe. And the way they've kind of streamlined the saucer, I feel like the Galaxy has a more stepped feel where the bridge dome has more of a presence. Here it feels like it absolutely. I mean, it's less than the height of the nacelle, which is definitely not the TNG Galaxy class. So this entirely misproportions everything. I do like the struts though, like you said, the struts are nice. Everything gets out of proportion from these views, from the front and back. I mean, very strange.
The back of the nacelles look really cool. The front of the nacelles, not as cool, but still pretty cool. Like the details look good there, but they go from the wide at the back to like slim at the front, and the way that looks from the front to me doesn't look good.
Weird is the word. But let's compare to the beauty of the Galaxy class boundary probot back in the day.
I mean, it's not that much different at first glance, but then you start to look, and it's like, wow. And I think the rounding out of the back of the nacelles really ruins the whole thing for me. Even if you put that straight across or kept the same feel of the Galaxy class, would have been way better in my opinion. Again, I really prefer the Galaxy class nacelles over these ones, just the shapes, and it's weird how it's so the same but so different.
And this is the Generations ILM model used in, like I said, Generations, built for that, based on miniature, so it's using textures sort of taken from the actual miniature, so whilst lower on physical detail, it's more accurate on texture detail, and built by the geniuses over there. To me, and obviously this is a hero movie model in theory and a game model, right? It's kind of funny how movies are so much more advanced than a game released, 14 years later, whatever. To me, the original Galaxy feels more nuanced in every way. But I think it actually has less detailing, but everything feels more thought out, considered, and detailed. Possibly because a lot of the shapes, and it is really the neck and the way the bridge connects, all of it becoming one shape with just paint makes it all feel like a detail. In the Galaxy class, you have very distinct shapes which amp up the detail level and make everything feel distinct and full and functional. This new one, it just feels like you've connected everything and lost all of the subtlety involved. It doesn't help, of course, that the original has beautiful Aztecing and beautiful all the little details, which this is missing. I mean, yes, it has windows and escape pods, but they're just textured on basically. They're not really. There's less artistry there, right? So I think, would you agree? Nuance is lost, even though you could.
Yeah. And this highlights one of the problems with STO ships, in my opinion, is the windows. They're always way too small. And again, I think that's to make the ship feel more massive. Look at the Galaxy class's windows. They're big windows, and they still look good and still make the ship look massive. And you look at the small, tiny little ones that they got on this, and it's just such an odd contrast. And I don't know if these ships are exactly the same size.
Yeah,
I would assume so.
Yeah.
If this one's bigger, then I have no problem with the smaller windows. It's just, it's hard to know, right? So,
yeah, very, very strange. And the side view, that beautiful, for me, beautiful curve from saucer to neck to secondary hull, gorgeous on the D, just gorgeous. This is to me.
And here you can really see what I was talking about with the way the saucer seems squashed. It's the same saucer, but just... And I kind of like it. I kind of like the saucer on this Venture class. And I don't mind the side profile. I like the secondary hull, actually. I kind of like that detail.
The side's better than the front. The side works better, as more balanced.
I just really prefer the nacelles on the Galaxy class overall. I mean, you put those nacelles on this one, I'd be very happy with this new kind of redesign. Although the neck extending back like that, it works here because you can't see it.
Now, if they dreadnoughted it, the neck would make sense. Just saying, because that's Galaxy X, what they did, right? Just saying. But no, I mean, you can see absolutely I was 100% right with the stepping of the saucer. They've squashed it beyond belief, and it just feels flat. The D has a beautiful saucer. It's marvellous. This is not. Very strange. And they've definitely cut the... Oh god, the window scaling on the secondary hull is terrible. I was about to say they've cut into the back of the secondary hull, so it's very, very small. The D is much bigger. But also the window scale is like all crammed together, and it isn't... Oh, it's weird.
But that being said, I kind of like the way the neck goes down into the deflector, and then there's that cutout at the front of the secondary hull. I like that.
You could modify that to work as part of a generally overall better design. But let's end on picture 3 actually, because I think 3 is a cooler view. Venture, obviously named after the Venture mid refit for the Galaxy, which is a little Easter egg. It's actually just the Galaxy X miniature, which they took off the third nacelle, and they kept the stuff on the nacelles that they couldn't remove because of glue. That's why there's a Venture variant with more phaser strips. That's it. It's just the model they couldn't take stuff off. So named after that, because it's a Canon DS9 ship. But yeah, I don't overall like it. I'm gonna say all the ones we looked at today, Stuart, which are actually quite a few, long filming. I'm gonna say it's one I don't like out of the 3 the most.
Would agree with that. It's got a lot of potential, though, as a lot of these do. I think with a few minor tweaks and things, that would be something I'd really like. But
is the potential to make it more like a Galaxy class?
Well, I mean, STO has done that with the Ross class and the the Andromeda class and things like that. Like those are much more cohesive, better designs, in my opinion. So.
Yep. But it does have some cool things. And this is why I love looking at all the views, and especially if we haven't, obviously I do the renders, I prep it, you haven't seen it at all. Things have changed different shapes. Things change different views. Orthographically, then, all the sins are revealed and you get an entire different feel as well. So it's very interesting to evolve. And most of the time, especially in the original Trek series, you'd be going left to right, that's the view. You never do this, ever. Oh, reflection. So it's we're seeing the sins, but a lot of these are hidden. Luckily, Trek real ships, as you see from behind me, a lot of them look fantastic from the top and the front and the side. That's artistry. Not to necessarily complain about this one's, but the refit, good from all the orthographics. Enterprise D, I like it from all of them. We're lucky with what we had, because they're pretty much all tremendous.
Anyway, guys, lots of STO ships out there. Is this one you've used? Is it your favorite? Let us know in the comments section. That's what it's there for. I want to hear your thoughts on it. And by all means, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Click that bell notification icon so you don't miss any of our content. We do lots of really great stuff here. And we love doing it for you guys. We love hanging out with you. So please come and join us for lives and all the other stuff that we do.
And if you want to and are able, then please support the show directly via a donation via Super Chat, which is a direct, we're live, you're with us live, you have your say, you can put your 2 cents in figuratively, but you're $5 in, ideally. Or monthly, if you want to help us out often, that's via Patreon, monthly, or join the channel on YouTube, join button, again, monthly, or super thanks on any video we do, of any of our 9 and somewhat years, or buy a shirt, or just comment, that does help the algorithm as well. So any and all help, and thanks in advance.
That's right. So until next time, he is Commander Cockings.
He's Captain Foley. Bye, guys.
Thank you for joining us for this venture.